Good day, everyone. We are the Group 3 and our group has been tasked to report the property tax. So allow me to introduce the members of the group. I'm Eljan Estocado alongside with Miss Natasha Mamangon, Miss Kimberly Agustino, Miss Hazel Ann Cardeño, Miss Princess Amar, Mr. Villacorta Ronel, and Miss Kimberly Kimbo. So without further ado, we will start the discussion.
Good day, everyone. I am Natasha Elaine G. Mamangon from Group 3, and we are here to discuss about the property tax. So, without further ado, let us start. So, firstly, let me define what is property tax. So, based on Google, it says that property tax is an ad valorem tax on the value of a property. The tax is levied by the governing authority of the jurisdiction in which the property is located. This can be a national government, a federated state, or a county, or other geographical region or a municipality. So, ito muna tayo sa ad valorem tax. So, yung term na ad valorem tax, in Latin, it simply means according to value. So, when we say property tax, it means that the amount of tax you pay depends on how much your property is is worth rather. No? So, yung local governments, like sa mga city or even sa provinces like us, they usually collect these taxes. But in our case, in the Philippines, no, LGUs yung usually collect ng ganitong klaseng taxes, no? So, sometimes then, pwede din naman yung mga state or yung national government mismo yung mag-collect nito. And yung mga money na nalilikom natin from these taxes naman is, of course, often used to pay for public services like yung mga schools, yung mga mga roads, or even yung mga emergency services, no? So this topic is assigned with other reporters, so I won't dig deeper into this so that they can explain and you can understand more since they are assigned into this topic. So for now, let me give you an example, no? So that you can understand what is property tax talaga. Ano ba? For example, I own a house, no? So yung government, they will assess the value of my house. And after they assess the value of my house, they will now charge me a percentage of the value of my house as tax. So technically, if my house is worth more, then I pay more taxes. But if my house is worth less, then I pay less taxes. That's just how it works now. So next is we have two main types of property taxes, which is the real estate property taxes and personal property taxes. So let me break them down for you to understand how they work. No, so as you can see, there are Venn diagram here in the screen. So you can see the differences and similarities of these two. No, so ito nang tatandaan nyo when it comes to real estate and personal property. When we say real estate, these are taxes na na-apply on immovable property. When we say immovable property, hindi pwedeng ilipat yung kinalalagyan ng mismong bagay. Like for example, yung lupa, yung bahay, pwede mo bang hukayin yung bahay? Pwede. Pero gigibain mo. Pero hindi mo siya malilipat na as is na kagaya kung paano siya nakatayo. So, yun yung immovable property. When we say naman sa personal property taxes, ito naman yung mga type ng taxes na na-apply to movable property. Like for example, yung mga sasakyan, mga boats, yung mga business equipments. So, another difference ng real estate property tax rather, and personal property tax is how how the payment schedules for these taxes differs, no? So it varies. Pag sa real estate property taxes, typically kasi annual obligation to sa mga property owners. So, annually sila nagbabayad. But, in personal property taxes, like for example, sa mga vehicles, no, pwede siyang semi-annually or annually. It depends on the situation of those of the of the person who owned the vehicle and the person who owned the business where the vehicles come from. Gets? So that's all. Thank you very much. So let me now call for the next reporter.
Hi everyone, I am Kimberly Claire Agustino and I'm going to tackle about the origins or the history of property tax. So, paano nga ba nagsimula or saan ba galing yung property tax? So, the concept of property tax has ancient origins and has been practiced in various forms by different civilizations. So, property tax has been a fundamental aspect of governance and revenue collection since ancient times. So, its earliest forms were seen in ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome. So, evolving through medieval Europe and into the systems used in the modern world. So, paano naman nagsimula yung property tax dito sa Pilipinas? So, the origins of property tax in the Philippines can be traced back through several historical periods, each contributing to the development of the current system. So, number one is the Spanish colonial period, 1565 to 1898. So, sa panahon ng kolonyalismo Espanyol is yung pamahalaang Espanyol is nagpataw sila ng sistema na tinatawag na tributo sa mga katutubong mamamayan. Yung tributo na to is isang uri siya ng buwis, ngunit hindi tuwirang buwis sa ari-arian. So, number 2 is the American colonial period, 1898 to 1946. So, sa administrasyong kolonyal ng Amerika naman is nagpakilala sila ng sistematikong pagbubuwis. Kabilang yung buwis dito is ari-arian na nakabatay sa or nag-base siya sa assessed value of land and buildings. Number 3 is the post-independence period, 1946 to present. So, after the independence, pinanatili ng Pilipinas yung sistemang buwis ari-arian na itinatag noong panahon ng Amerikano at patuloy itong pinahusay sa pamamagitan ng iba't ibang reform or various reforms. So, number 4 is the modern development. So, sa pagsusumikap na gawing modern yung system ng buwis sa ari-arian, gumamit na sila ng digital para ma-improve yung transparency, reduce corruption, and para ma-increase na rin yung collection rates. So, panghuli, or number 5 is the current system. So, yung buwis sa ari-arian sa Pilipinas is nagbe-base siya sa equal or patas na market value ng mga ari-arian. And yung mga nakokolekta rito is ginagamit siya para pondohan yung mga lokal na infrastructure sa edukasyon at sa public services. So, the property tax system in the Philippines evolved or patuloy na nag-evolve from early forms of tribute during the Spanish colonial period through significant reforms under American rule and continued refinement and modernization post-independence.
Okay, so good day everyone. My name is Hazel Anverdeño, and after knowing what is property tax and its history, now we're going to talk about real property tax exemptions naman. So, di ba, property tax is defined by the tax foundation as the tax that is imposed on immovable property. So, pag sinabing immovable, hindi siya nagagalaw or nalilipat. Halimbawa nito is land and buildings, as well as movable property like vehicles and equipment. But there are exemptions. So, there are 5 exemptions. So, number 1, government-owned real properties except if the beneficial use has been granted to a taxable person. Number two, institutions actually directly and exclusively used for religious, charitable, or educational purposes. So, for example is, merong lugar sa simbahan na ginagamit para magbenta. Hindi siya included sa exemption na yon kasi hindi naman siya ginagamit para sumamba. So, number three is machinery and equipments used by companies para mag-supply ng or mag-distribute ng water and electricity. And number four, all real property owned by duly registered cooperatives. And the last one is machineries and equipment used for pollution control and environment protection. And that's it. So, for the next reporter.
So, good day each and everyone. I am Princess Amar and I will be discussing the property tax per region. So, first, ano nga ba yung RPT or Real Property Tax Rates? So, pag sinabi po nating RPT or Real Property Tax Rate, ito po yung porsyento ng assessed value ng property na ginagamit para malaman kung magkano nga ba yung mga babayarang buwis o kinakailangang bayarang buwis ng isang tao. So, sa Metro Manila, meron tayong 2% of the assessed value, while the province has 1% of the assessed value. So, bakit nga ba magkaiba yung RPT rates ng Metro Manila and province? So, syempre, maraming dahilan kung bakit mas mataas yung RPT ng Metro Manila compared doon sa probinsya. So, explain ko ano nga ba yung mga pangunahing dahilan, no? So, yan. The difference in real property tax between Metro Manila and the province, 2% versus 1%, reflects several factors related to the economic conditions, property values, and public service needs. So, the first one is yung economic activity. So, syempre, sa Metro Manila, sentro siya ng negosyo, no? Ng isang ekonomiya sa ating bansa. So, syempre, mas maraming negosyo, mas maraming negosyante, mas maraming buildings, mas mataas na kita ng mga tao dito. Then, dahil dito, syempre, mas mahalaga at syempre, mas mataas yung market value ng mga properties sa Metro Manila, no? Then, the next naman is the higher property values. So, syempre, dahil yun nga, maraming tao, maraming mga negosyante, maraming negosyo, mas mataas yung nagiging demand para sa properties sa Metro Manila. So, syempre, dahil mas mataas na demand at limitadong espasyo lang, no, tumataas po yung presyo ng mga property. Kaya, mas mataas po yung halaga ng mga property dito kumpara sa probinsya. Then, the third one is yung public service demand. So, pag sinabi natin public service demand, ito yung mga pangangailangan sa public service, no? Dahil syempre, mas marami yung tao sa Metro Manila, mas mataas po yung pangangailangan ng mga public services tulad ng yung sa kalsada, kailangan maayos, di ba? Yung mga tulay, kailangan maayos. Yung transportation, yung mga tren, bus. Syempre, sa health din, yung mga hospital and yung mga clinic. Then, the very important is yung education. Syempre, yun nga, yung mga paaralan, no? So, yung 2% na tax rate ay tumutulong doon para pondohan yung mga serbisyong yon, yung mga nabanggit ko. Then, the fourth one naman is yung revenue needs. So, syempre, yung revenue needs, yun nga, pangangailangan ng kita ng ng gobyerno. So, syempre, yung local government sa Metro Manila, meron silang mas malaking budget na kinakailangan para mapanatili po yung or ma-maintain yung gantong pagpapabuti ng serbisyo, no, and struktura sa loob ng isang pamayanan. Then syempre mas mataas yung RPT rate ng paraan, no, para makuha po yung mga kinakailangang pondo. Then, the lastly is yung cost of living. Yun nga, gasto sa pamumuhay. So, syempre, mas mahal yung pamumuhay sa Metro Manila kaysa sa probinsya. Syempre, sa Metro Manila, kailangan mong paghirapan lahat. Hindi ka makakapulot ng pera kasi sa Manila, no? Kumbaga, kailangan lahat ng mga luho mo, pangangailangan mo sa loob ng isang bahay is kailangan mo pagtrabahuhan mo na bago ka makabili ng mga yon. Then sa probinsya naman, kahit sabihin natin sa probinsya, mas madali kasi silang mamuhay doon eh. Kumbaga, kunyari, syempre lahat ng bahay doon, meron silang mga tanim, meron silang mga lupain, meron silang mga yard na kung saan pwede silang magtanim ng iba't ibang gulay, pwede silang mag-harvest ng mga gantong prutas, and kaya nilang kainin yun nang hindi binabayaran sa malaking halaga, no? So, syempre, mas mahal din yung mga magbigay ng public service dahil nga sa mataas na gastos. Yung 2% po ng RPT rate ay tinutulungan na matugunan yung mga mas matataas na gastos nito, no? So, technically, no, yung pagkakaiba lang ng RPT rates, ito yung bunga ng iba't ibang economic conditions, halaga ng mga property, at pangangailangan sa public services sa bawat region, no? So, syempre, mas mataas nga yung rate ng Metro Manila. Syempre, nakatuon sila para tugunan yung mga matataas na pangangailangan at gastusin, no, sa areas natin. Habang sa probinsya naman, mababang rate lang sa probinsya. Ito ay sapat na, no? Dahil sa mga pangangailangan doon, hindi naman sila high maintenance.
So, good day everyone. I'm going to report property tax computation, no? So, dito sa area na to is magko-compute tayo ng property tax. Ipapakita ko sa inyo kung paano i-compute yung real property tax, no? So, paano nga ba natin kinocompute yung real property tax? No? So, in order to compute the real property tax, meron tayong sinusunod na formula, no? Ito yung formula para makuha natin yung RVT, which is real property tax. RVT rate X assess value, no? Dun sa may previous lesson, which is tinakal ni Amar, is makikita natin doon yung RVT rate, no, which is sinabi doon na yung RVT rate in Metro Manila is 2% and doon naman sa mga provinces is 1%, no. So okay, balik tayo doon. So RPT rate, alam na natin yan, which is given nga yan doon sa report nga Mar. Ngayon, ang problemahin natin ngayon is itong assess value, no? So, yung assess value is kinocompute siya, no? So, ayan nga, you must first solve the assess value in order to solve the RPT, no? So, meron tayong formula sa assess value. Assess value equals FMV. Pag sinabi natin FMV, fair market value. And i-multiply mo siya sa assessment level. No? So, meron naman tayo ditong chart. Itong dalawang to is given. No? Yung FMV, which is fair market value, and assessment level is given yan. No? Fix. Pag sinabi natin fix or given, talagang meron na siyang and galing siya sa ating national law, no? Ito yung mga numbers. Ayan, ito yung mga numbers na pinapatupad ng LGUs, no, ng local government natin. Pwedeng baguhin niya ng local government natin, pero ayang assessment levels na yan is ayan yung maximum, no? Di nila pwedeng mas taasan pa dyan. Pwedeng mas mabaan nila, pero yung maximum, ayan yung maximum nun, no? Naka-fix na yan dyan. So, ayan yung itinalaga na FMB and assessment levels para sa mga buildings and structures. No? Itong table na to is galing nga to sa ating national law, no? Naka-fix na yan. So, ayan, makikita naman natin. Para lang siyang, ang tawag dito, chart na inaral natin sa mga SSS, ganon, no? So, ayan. So, meron tayo ditong problem, no? Move on na tayo sa computation mismo. Real computation. Meron tayo ditong problem which is Kem sell her house in Metro Manila to Hazel for 2.5 million pesos, no? So, kukunin natin dito is yung RPT or yung real property tax, no? So, para nga makuha natin yung RPT, kailangan muna natin makuha yung assessed value, no? So, ang first natin isi-solve is assessed value. So, FMB, which is fair market value is, ayun nga, 2.5 million pesos. And, sa nakuha yung 40% dito, no? 2 million, over 2 million and not over 5 million, pasok siya sa 40% na assessment levels, no? So, kukunin natin dyan is 40%. Now, i-multiply natin 2.5 million multiply to 40%, which is 0.40. Now, nakuha natin yung assessed value, which is 1 million. And mag-move on na tayo, syempre dito. Since may assessed value na tayo, pwede nating isolve yung RPT, which is yung real property tax. No, ngayon, RPT rate, sabi ko nga kanina sa tinakal ni Amar, meron tayong RPT rate. Metro Manila 2% and sa mga provinces is 1%. Ngayon nakalagay sa example natin, wait lang. Nakalagay sa example problem natin is ayun, game. Ngayon nga, ang nakalagay dun sa may example problem natin is house in Metro Manila, which means pala na yung bahay ni Kem is nakatayo sa Metro Manila. So, ang rate nga sa Metro Manila is 2%. Kaya, ilalagay nating RPT rate is 2%. Ngayon, multiply natin sila. 2% times 1 million is equals to 20,000, which means yung RPT or yung real property tax na meron yung structures or building na binibenta ni Kem kay Hazel is nakakahalaga ng 20,000 yung RPT niya or yung real property tax niya. So, ganun lang kadali mag-solve ng real property tax, no? Lagi nating alalahanin itong formula na kailangan, no? RPT, in order to get the RPT, you must solve first the assessed value, no? Yung mga numbers or kailangan sa assessed value is already given by the national law, no? So, madali lang natin yung masasolve. Now, kapag na-get mo na yan, balik ka na sa RPT. Yung RPT rate also given po yan. So, ayun. Thank you for listening to me. Bye-bye.
Good day, everyone. So my name is Ronald Marquez Villacarte, and I will be discussing about the importance of property tax. First on the list is we have the importance. So real property tax or RPT provides the most stable own source revenue for local governments and an important resource to improve service delivery and finance infrastructure projects. So, aware naman tayo nandito sa Pilipinas ay nagbabayad tayo ng taxes, di ba? So, each individual, kapag nagbabayad ng tax, tayo rin naman yung nakikinabang sa mga binabayad natin. So, for example neto, yung mga schools, road maintenance, sa mga infrastructure such as yun, schools nga, buildings, and even the government funds. So, the importance of this is it serves as a funds sa government para gawin kung ano yung mga gawin yung mga plano na kanilang gustong ipatupad, kailangan gawin. So these are the importance of property tax. So the next is the purpose. So the purpose of property tax is to generate revenue for local governments to fund essential public services and infrastructure such as school, police and fire departments, road maintenance, and community facilities. It ensures a stable source of funding for local needs and improvements. So like as I said earlier, so it helps as a fund for the government para kung ano man yung mga nais na plano nila na ipatupad, ito yung nagbibigay daan para may sa katuparan nito lahat. So yung mga taxes na binabayad natin sa, for example nito is yung sa road maintenance. So 'di ba kapag may mga sira ng kalsada, so yung budget na kinukuha ng gobyerno or ng isang munisipalidad para mapaayos yung isang kalsada is by through taxes, yung mga binabayad ng mga tao sa lugar na yon. So yun yung purpose nung taxes, yung property tax sa Pilipinas. So that's for thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Kimberly J. Kimbo, and today we will going to discuss what will happen if people don't pay their taxes. If people don't pay their taxes, several things can happen. Number one, penalties and fines. The government may charge extra fees called penalties and fines, which can make the total amount owed much higher. Second is legal trouble. People might face legal actions such as lawsuits or criminal charges, which could lead to court appearances and even jail time. Next is seizure of assets. The government can take away possessions such as money from bank accounts or even property to cover the unpaid taxes. Next is loss of services. Taxes fund public services like schools, roads, and emergency services. If people don't pay their taxes, it can lead to a lack of funding for these important services. And lastly, credit issues. Unpaid taxes can negatively affect a person's credit score, making it harder to get loans or credit in the future. So overall, not paying taxes can cause serious financial and legal problems for individuals and reduce the quality of public services for everyone. So paying taxes is important for several reasons, as taxes are a fundamental part of the economic and social structure of a country. Paying taxes is a civic duty that supports the collective well-being of a society. It ensures that the government has the necessary resources to provide services, maintain order, and invest in the future prosperity of the nation. So that's all for my report. Thank you.
So that concludes our report. I hope you learned a lot about real property tax. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.